Good morning, church. Thank you so much for your prayers over the last week. I finally finished my seminary. Got to say that I couldn't have gotten through it without you. Your prayers and your support over these last 2 years. I just can't thank you enough. But here we are on the other side of that, and I get to present to you some of the findings of the survey that some of you filled out regarding reopening under these COVID conditions. So let's take a look at that. I want to thank everyone who took the time to answer our survey. As a congregationally led church, it is important to the leadership team to hear from you when making a decision this big. We had 75 respondents to the survey, and while we did not ask for names, we did ask for ages. And I'm happy to say that we had replies spanning our youth all the way up to our seniors and every age group in between. That all said, here are some of the highlights. Are you or a member of your household bubble considered a high-risk population for severe COVID-19? 44% of respondents expressed having a person at high risk for COVID-19. I would suggest it shows that we are heading in the right direction by improving and keeping an online option for those who are at risk. An additional almost 15% were unsure. When we send out further communications regarding opening, we will include the BC CDC's at-risk criteria so that everyone can make an educated decision about personally returning to an in-person service or not. Which best describes your attitude toward returning to in-person Sunday services at church? 24% expressed being willing to return immediately, while an additional 16% also wanted to return, but it was with concerns and precautions. The remaining approximately 60% expressed uncertainty to varying degrees. Given that cases have significantly increased since the survey was taken, we can reasonably expect that caution is certainly the overarching attitude for the majority. What precautions would you want our church to take for Sunday service gatherings? There were high expectations of the church taking precautions, from 60% up to over 93% of respondents for every area suggested. These areas included limiting handouts like bulletins, receiving the tithing differently, doing communion differently, propping doors open, one-way traffic, physical distancing, discouraging handshaking, etc. And we hear you, and we're working with the deacons in their areas of responsibility to make these things happen. There were also a few comments made about singing and folks concerned about the risk of singing as a group in person. We will be reviewing the guidelines around that before making a final decision. You can contrast this significantly with the much lower percentage feeling comfortable or able to volunteer for these measures of protection. Both questions allowed for people to make multiple selections, so it is something that we need to consider moving forward, as while caution and expectations are high, volunteers may be relatively scarce in execution. If you're interested in volunteering to help with the sanitizing standards that we will need to execute in order to open, we will be putting out a volunteer request closer to opening. We will end on face coverings because that has been in the news a lot lately, with retail outlets and transit requiring them to be worn. While only 2% expressed that they would not attend if required to wear a mask, a surprising 20% wouldn't attend if it wasn't required. Of the rest, 61% would wear a mask, but about 21% of those respondents thought people should have a choice. Almost 16% expressed that they would not wear them unless they were required. We do not know where we were at on this topic yet, and we will be exploring it more. In conclusion, cautiousness seems to be the overarching message of the survey. As we come back together, let's remember that church is not about the singular me, but rather us as the body of Christ. The body will include those who come back and those who feel more comfortable to join in the service from home for now. There are many differing opinions as to what, if anything, should be done here. But what we would ask is that you respect and lovingly follow whatever guidelines are put in place in order for us to come together on Sunday mornings again. If you would like a copy of the survey, please email me at community@wearenorthside.com. And also, I'd ask that as we continue to move towards opening up the church again and meeting together on Sunday mornings, that you would keep the process in prayer and that you would keep each other in prayer. Thank you.